everybody, welcome to the Blue Bird Cage, I think, right?
Is it happening?
Is it real?
I don't think we should ever let Mark touch anything again. I'm not sure what happened.
I'll be honest, I barely remember what was supposed to have happened. So
that's very fair.
Yeah.
Well, I can see you guys now. I can see you guys on my screens now.
Who's Mark?
Oh
no.
We've gone too far.
Oh no.
I don't know. I got nothing.
Oh boy.
I got nothing. Welcome to Blue Bird Cage.
Long time no see, guys.
Yeah, how's everybody been?
Honest answer, or
Well, there was
I
a
think
pandemic, and
I think at this point we need to be introduced. At this point, like I don't even think people know who we are.
That's probably true. Well, Eddie, why don't you get us started?
Me? I get to do the intros?
Yeah. Who are you?
First of all, this really is Blue Bird Cage 2.0. We just need more paint splotches, you know?
Yes, we're working on that.
Well, I'm co-host, executive co-host, like you, Justin.
Sure.
Of Blue Bird Cage. I'm also known as Medium Daddy Cool. How about yourself? Who are you?
Well, I've gone by many names. The J-Ster. There are others that I can't think of off the top of my head, but these days I prefer Justy Rhodes. If we're doing nicknames.
Are you gonna do the song?
Maybe. The Tennessee Dream is what I'm thinking. The Tennessee Dream, Justy Rhodes. Yeah, I'm Justin White.
Who else we got here?
Killer. I guess it's me.
Yeah, the other executive co-host.
I guess it's me. I also have had many names, the 1, 2, 3, Chris, Crix, Pac, but these days I'm just the dad guy, Chris Mitchell.
The dad guy.
Yeah.
Say hello to the dad guy. I like that a lot. I like it.
Yeah.
And your little friend's just baby Todd.
You know, Jumpin' Julian.
The wee baby Todd.
Jumpin' Julian, the white meat baby face.
White meat baby face. Old Jumpin' Julian.
You know it.
Goodness.
He'll be on the show one day. We're going to be doing this in one form or another for so long that he will eventually be on the show.
First, second generation.
Second generation Blue Bird Cage host.
Oh man, kid's going straight to the top.
He really is.
We'll put a bad gimmick on him at first.
Yeah, he's got that pedigree, man.
He really does.
He's going to be a blue chipper, is what he's going to be.
This is real quality right here, real blue chip.
By God. How about last but not least, our junior co-host in training?
I love how you're just noshing on some watermelon.
It's good.
It looks good.
What is? Yeah, go ahead and do that. Introduce yourself, David, and do your snack check at the same time, I guess.
I think you just did, and I think I just did. So
no nickname?
There we are. It's not really a nickname; it's more of a job.
Well, I mean, as Vince taught us, anything could be a nickname or a gimmick in the '90s, especially jobs.
That's true. That's true. Well, you can call me the Weatherman.
All right, still enjoying that yellow watermelon?
I am. Speaking of weather, it is nice and warm outside. Nothing like a nice piece of yellow watermelon. First time I've ever had it.
I've never had yellow watermelon.
They had some at Publix, local Publix. If you're in the Tri-Cities area, shout out to Publix. It's kind of like a honeydew, but like the texture of a watermelon. I would recommend it.
Okay.
David, I've got to ask. You said it's really more of a job. Like, is being Teresa's lover a job or like?
These days.
Chris is muted.
Everything starts as a passion and then it ends up being a grind. You know.
I have missed this. It's so good. It's so good to hear Teresa jokes.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
So we're doing snack check because since David already went, he's got.
Yeah, Jesus, slowpokes. Come on, what do you got? What do you got?
I got garden salsa sun chips today.
That's pretty lame.
And the smart water because I'm the dad guy and I got to keep my dad bod away.
You got to stay hydrated.
Hydrate to dominate, as Snacks always says.
Dadden takes it out of you, I imagine.
The best sun chips.
The best. Garden salsa are the best.
Well, I kind of flaked on snack check. I'm not eating anything at the moment because I had a breakfast burrito like an hour ago.
Okay.
So that was good. But I am drinking a cherry Coke Zero in an Evil Dead groovy can koozie.
Cool.
There you go.
That's cool.
So there.
What was on the breakfast burrito was the protein.
Sausage.
Okay.
Eggs are protein.
Okay. Not bad.
Also eggs, yeah.
I got 2 shots of espresso because I'm still in my morning face.
Okay.
I got a lovely Nature Valley here. It's delicious, but mostly I got this abomination.
What is that?
Oh god.
It is flaming hot Mountain Dew.
Oh yeah, I saw that on the internet.
Because I'll buy anything to give it a whirl as far as weird sodas go, and it really tastes like orange. It doesn't have any heat to it at all.
Really?
That's weird.
Okay. That's probably for the best because I feel
yeah.
It's like my urethra is just burning just thinking about the concept. Like
and we're back.
If it doesn't happen now, it's going to happen with you hanging out with Teresa all this time.
Oh.
Believe me. But yeah, it looks like we got some good snacks.
I just have to interject and say I'm really digging the shirt, Eddie.
Thank you.
The 90, that's 96 Rumble.
97 got a matching hat, you know.
Very nice.
Like I'm getting ready for our big trip.
Well, I was gonna say, are you you got your wardrobe together for our upcoming trip to Chicago?
Only the finest in bootleg wrestling tees have I purchased. I've purchased a stupid amount of bootleg wrestling tees in the past few months. Yesterday or last night, I purchased a whole Shawn Michaels Grand Slam Championship outfit. Kim's gonna be very proud.
Oh
man,
I
can't believe she hasn't locked that down yet. Put a ring on it.
It's the money, you know.
It's the money.
I'm a money mark, so now you know that's a new thing.
Yeah, I had a talk about the drawer I have full of wrestling shirts that she's never seen me wear and colors that I've never worn in my life.
Yeah, I've got one of those drawers too.
I was like, I don't really have an answer other than I liked them.
Well, I'm trying to I got a couple pandemic pounds on me, you know. I'm using them as like the carrot to get rid of them. It's like I will have this wonderful new wardrobe to wear if only I can, you know, not.
You're just gonna be a
much.
90s or a walking 90s pay-per-view poster.
That's really the plan.
Sure.
Like that or like an old a Nike commercial, you know.
Right.
That'd be pretty cool. Like I was
it's too bad it's not hanging out with. Too bad it's not an old starter commercial. Too bad it's not an old starter commercial, so you can flip your hat and.
Oh, I will. I'm gonna do the was it the Spike Lee little weird hat?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm gonna do that and yell at Michael Jordan for dropping a double nickel on the neckers.
This is gonna be a great trip to Chicago. This is
you guys are gonna have the most fun.
It is, and here we are. We're starting. It starts at a perfect time. We're starting at the Road to Forbidden Door. For everybody who doesn't know. Myself, Justin, and David. Unfortunately, we wish Chris was coming, but he's not. He'll be there with us in spirit.
The dad guy's got to be a dad, and that's awesome.
I also have to play a show that night. Sorry. That
night, really?
Yeah.
I like how your conflict isn't, it doesn't have to do with being a parent. It's like
it's like no,
I'm doing another bullshit thing. I'm playing a show instead of going to the wrestling show.
Meredith's got that. We're good.
She's got it. Whatever.
I mean, that show doesn't start till like 10:30. That kid will be asleep. It's fine.
Well,
That's
Okay.
great, but
Like side note, Chris, you should get somebody to live stream this show. Let's set up a YouTube stream for that. Let's get a QR code for that. Let's put that on a sign. Let's get that shit in Forbidden Door.
We actually do have a QR code for that already. My band has got that ready, so I can give that to everybody.
oh, it's happening then.
Yeah. Then we will we will advertise. I will advertise.
Excellent.
Eddie's gonna advertise for bootleggers, but I gotcha.
yeah, I'm gonna have a backpack full of shine too. So I don't know how I'm getting that on the plane. I'm not sure, but we'll try.
That's why I'm road tripping up there.
I can't wait. Like I'm not stoked about the being on the plane and some of the things because COVID's not exactly over. It's a little better, but not exactly over. We'll get there, I think. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
think at this point, everyone's you just gotta kind of live your life. I mean, it's right now. It's the thing that's out there, and if you've done the right things, then at this point, you're probably fine. I mean, you might get sick, but
I'm gonna be wearing an N95. I'm still in the like crazy portion of the pandemic.
It's like you might get sick, like you might get killed walking your doggy. So like, what's the difference at this point? Like,
nah, man, Baltimore's safe.
Yeah,
notoriously safe city, Baltimore.
When I think Baltimore, I think safe.
Yeah.
The trade-off.
Trace Task Force is keeping us safe, man.
The trade-off is Chicago, I guess. Like, so
the murder capital.
We'll hit up Memphis on the way back. Like,
oh, we're gonna do it well, but
so
I think this is kind of. Go ahead.
Talking about this bumpy road to Forbidden Door.
How is it already so bumpy? It just started.
Well, I think the craziest thing to happen is not Forbidden Door, but Double or Nothing just happened this past Sunday, which was a long ass pay-per-view. I'm guessing, did everybody have time to watch it or at least skim through it?
No, I got the highlights though.
I did watch it. It took me a day or two because it was there was a lot of it, but yeah, I did watch it.
It had some good stuff. It had some stuff that dragged. I think
it wasn't their strongest pay-per-view.
I thought it was, honestly, if I'm being honest, I thought it was probably their weakest pay-per-view since kicking off Dynamite and going through them. I think they've had a lot of really, really strong pay-per-views. This, I think, with Tony adding like 2 more matches to the card because he was worried about the NBA playoffs for whatever reason, it made it drag, which is unfortunate because few matches like the Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb match, you got to go to the bathroom sometime or take care of your kid or whatever you do in your life. You can't be at your TV for 5.5 hours. And like some matches like that, there ended up being bathroom breaks that probably should have been.
Which was a great match.
Yeah, it was.
But
can
it's
you
kind
not
of
pause it? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It was streaming live. I was watching Bleacher Report.
You can still pause it though, can't you?
Never tried to pause Bleacher Report. That app is so crappy. It took us 30 minutes to get the app working, which apparently is
AEW
pretty par for the course.
They really got to get on a easier way of watching their content, particularly the pay-per-views. I mean, the week-to-week TV, yes, also that. They need a streaming deal, but my God, they got to get a better, because Bleacher Report is awful. I have gotten it actually twice. I've gotten 2 or 3 of them through Sling. You can actually order them through Sling, and that I had an issue one time, Chris. I can't remember which show it was that had the audio issue.
Yeah,
where we had to the audio kept getting out of sync.
Yeah, go back out and back in.
So I had a problem that one time, but the other times I've ordered from them, I really haven't had any problems out of it, and it was a pretty easy process. I found that to be the best way to do it because, Bleacher Report's terrible.
It is, and the only reason, like, you can VPN from like Venezuela or something and use Fight in the States. Apparently, they haven't banned that VPN yet. But I split it with a person that did one of the episodes during the pandemic with us, Kyle, just because I didn't want to pay $50 for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But decent pay-per-view, a little long. I think the big news coming out of it was the first match is will he or won't he show up with MJF, who apparently didn't show up to a signing during the meet and greet sessions at Double or Nothing weekend on Saturday. Started all the the dirt sheets buzzing. Oh my God, what's going on? Yada, yada, yada. And then Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful reported that he'd booked a plane ticket out of there to Newark.
Yeah, it's God.
Yeah.
Oh, I love some backstage wrestling drama.
Yeah,
You know,
it's part of the fun.
WWE's always got it going on right now. They got it going on with the whole Sasha Banks and Naomi thing, and AEW, though it's clearly a work, is, you know, I think there's a shoot aspect to some of the MJF stuff that's just so interesting.
Yeah. See, I think I think they're doing a really good job with an actual work. I think Sean Ross Sapp got worked, although he doesn't want to admit to it. If you've seen his Twitter timeline this week, he just dude cannot stop feeding trolls. He needs to just let it go. I think he got worked. It feels like he got worked. And when MJF came out here at the beginning, top of the hour of Dynamite, I think that made it pretty clear it was a work. And then the other big thing that happened at Double or Nothing, of course, was the crowning of a new AEW champion. And I think Chris was happy. I think Chris was happy for a few moments. Did you cry like Punk?
I mean, I'm not gonna act like I didn't or did. You know,
that's not an answer. That's not an answer.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you all decide if I cried.
This is a safe space. Of course, I'm gonna say yes if it involves you crying.
I mean, look, it's like his first championship in what, 9 years?
It's a while.
9, 10, maybe. I think that it was. I actually think it was a good idea to put the title on him. But we'll get to the bumps in the road that are going on with the said thing. I was here for it. I like Hangman Adam Page, but they booked him really weird as a champion. Same way that they're badly booking Thunder Rosa. So I think that AEW has some kind of weird thing with not knowing how to book their champs.
I honestly would agree.
I thought the champs pre-Hangman though were booked well, and I thought Britt for the most part for.
I think a lot of their issue for me is that they can't. I think maybe the issue is they can't book a babyface champ.
Yeah,
they can book a heel champ. The only good, I mean, we haven't had that many AEW World Champs, but I would say the only good babyface title run we got was Mox.
Yeah, and good. That's because.
But I guess the only other one would be Page.
And he wasn't, and Mox wasn't even exactly a babyface when he came in because he came in Double or Nothing. Beat up Kenny, beat up Jericho a little bit, and off but running.
Everybody wants Kenny to get beat up because he sucks. So
that's a weird way to talk about the best wrestler in the world.
We're not talking about the best wrestler in the world. We're talking about Kenny Omega.
Says the guy of the fan of a guy that just had to quit again. Lost his smile. I think seems familiar.
Are we talking about Shawn Michaels?
Kinda. I mean, he wants to be Brett, but he's really the bad guy in all this. Which I think is what they were leaning toward.
Look at Eddie. Look at Eddie getting in the storyline works.
But
well, anyway. Look at me just over here knowing that the best goddamn wrestler in the world is the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, and everybody can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah, Justin isn't wrong. He really is the best wrestler.
Best active wrestler in the world right now is by far Bryan Danielson, and I wish he was still on that heel run that he was doing at the beginning of the year because he was just showing how awesome he is.
Yeah, he really can do no wrong. At this, I feel like he's so good at every aspect of it at this point, and I'm really digging the stable. Though I would like to see a little more high profile Danielson stuff.
All right.
But I love the stable
for sure.
Sorry, getting off topic there.
No, I think it's cool. I like the shirt. I like the idea of like a shooter type stable. Absolutely hated the match at Double or Nothing. I thought that was just. I don't want to sound cornetty, but that was some much bullshit right there. It was awful.
I definitely disagree.
Yeah, I disagree too. Actually, I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah, like the visual of Eddie Kingston looking like a zombie with
That was awesome.
gasoline and just. I liked the whole thing. I liked it. I feel
like maybe I don't know. I feel like two of my favorite matches of the year so far are that one and the Jackass match at WrestleMania.
Really?
I thought that match was really fun.
I was just very entertained by them.
I agree.
I don't know. It just wasn't my thing. It felt very frantic, and I wasn't sure where to look. And it went on for way too long. It was like 21 minutes.
I just think with Anarchy in the Arena that I don't think that Jericho needed the win. I don't really understand where they're going with that, other than to do blood and guts, clearly.
And I think they rushed announcing that a little bit. Like there was no necessarily a reason for it, other than the BCC lost. I think they should have maybe waited a few weeks for it. I don't know. I'm excited for Blood and Guts. Hopefully, Jericho doesn't land on a bunch of cardboard boxes this time. Hopefully, that's not the finish. and if he does, hopefully they at least film it in a way where it doesn't look like he landed on a bunch of cardboard boxes. But from Double or Nothing, let's go ahead and roll into Dynamite, which is going to make Chris sad because of what we learned on Rampage. But the first match of the night, kicking it off, and this has been true for most of the weeks coming in, is CM Punk kicking it off the open match, which I think has worked out for them, especially with the rollover from Big Bang Theory. That's when they usually pull in their biggest ratings. It's CM Punk and FTR, or CMFTR, I believe they're calling themselves now, versus Max Caster and the Ass Boys, or the Gun Club. How are you feeling about FTR and CM Punk just as this like threesome, this trios tag?
I'll say I like FDR in general. I don't like this direction they're going, where they're kind of like Bret Hart fanboys. It's like it's a little too much. Like they do a good job as being like a couple of bruisers and emulating like an 80s, wrestling tag team. But at this point, it's, I don't know. It's like they're I don't know. I just feel like they're just advertising for Bret Hart. It's a little too much.
That and crying about their family. Oh, my family and this, my best friend mean the most to me. It's like,
yeah.
You guys were a lot cooler before you had emotions.
Yeah, like that. Like they used to be a tag team like from Asheville. Now they're like two dudes that run a food truck from Asheville.
Ooh, I want to jump in here and say I kind of feel like maybe they're doing like a Heart Foundation thing, like like they're like seeming like family and they're pulling in who they can pull in, and they're going to create a bigger stable. But I like the trio. I also like that FTR got over just by being FTR, and now they're like baby faces just because the crowd likes them. Like they're not doing anything any different. They're not wrestling any different, and they're still just saying shit on the mic. But now everyone likes when they say it, as opposed to like it's just them just being like, this is us. I got family. I got this guy. We're going to go kick somebody.
It's funny because
I got troubles.
It's funny because in as much as like they've become like they become like the Bret Hart versions of the Young Bucks, where the Young Bucks are basically like DX era Shawn Michaels fanboys. FTR is like Bret Hart fanboys at this point. And same thing with Punk and like all these matches where they're literally taking, and you can go look at the Bret Hart match, doing an homage or a mashup, whatever you want to call it, to it. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know.
Do you agree with Hangman that it's masturbatory?
Yes.
Oh, it's definitely masturbatory.
Yeah.
I will say it's something that, as someone who hasn't really followed AEW much, I have been trying to watch it a little bit more last couple of weeks. That's probably one of my favorite things I've heard said was Paige referring to it as a masturbatory Bret Hart tribute. And I was like, that's exactly what it feels like to me.
And one of Hangman's best promos as champion too, and it was a little heel tinted, although he wasn't a heel, which kind of made that funny going in. And it kind of made me think that Punk was going to turn heel, like after he won the title, like the first summer of Punk, like he did in ROH, win the title. Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Thought the devil didn't exist. I'm the devil. Yada yada yada. I thought they might roll him into it right away into a bad guy. I'm kind of glad they didn't, considering. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's going to happen eventually because you've seen like a few people, and usually baby faces and MJF are like, I see Punk for what he really is. He's a snake in the grass. So I'd look forward to that coming to fruition, hopefully eventually, and him like being a bad guy again.
Yeah, that's
It'll
that's
definitely happen.
one of the biggest things I'm missing from like seeing Punk back is like he doesn't do it for me as a baby face. Like he's just too good. Like
He never really has. Like maybe early ECW, like WWE ECW, maybe then, but like I hated his babyface run when he was champ in WWE. And yeah, I mean, yeah, babyface Punk just doesn't really do it. He's just a natural asshole.
He doesn't have the edge when he's
he's too good. And like even that kind of it shines through every once in a while. Like before the Page match, he when he came out there and like talked about how he laid the groundwork for all this stuff, and he's like, now shake my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, okay, that's like I need to see more of that. But that's kind of my biggest issue with AEW overall is like it is too concerned about the fans, which we'll talk about a little later. There's some things that I've liked that I've seen, but I was really hoping Punk was going to be like that anti-fan character. But so far it's been the opposite for me.
That's why I think because he was kind of that way in ROH during that initial run in the mid-aughts, but right before he left for WWE, he was beloved, for setting up that one of the best indie promotions of all time and being really the heart of it there for a while, and then turning on them. I think that's when he's at his best, and I think we'll get that eventually. I was thinking that'd probably be MJF at All Out. He would lose to MJF, and eventually that would cause him to, seek something that he's lost because he couldn't hang with the guy again.
I feel like, and now with, I mean,
we'll get to it.
Yeah, okay.
Well, let's
Eddie acts like we're doing this like before anyone knows what happened.
Yeah.
Can
we just rip the Band-Aid off and say it? Everyone listening to this, I'm sure
everyone knows Eddie. This is not.
He relinquished the title last.
He didn't
time.
relinquish.
He did not relinquish the title.
Okay.
Because that promo was super muddy. There's an interim title, but he still has his.
Jericho is what messed that up because he's relinquishing the title.
I don't really understand why you would do an interim type. I don't understand why that, like, just crown a new champion.
Is he going to be gone for that long? This also work?
I don't think this is a work. No,
I don't think this is a work.
And that's something I kind of looked at it too. I was like, this could be. I mean, he could have a legit injury, but this could be him being an opportunity for him to turn heel because he turns out he refuses to like give the title back.
Here's all I'm saying is if you watch the match on Dynamite with FTR at the end, Punk couldn't get up off the ropes. Like there was that point, and he was clearly messing with his knee on down, and he like, they turned around like doing the "Are you okay?" and he grimaced and kind of waved him off and like wouldn't get up off the ropes.
My one question was, if he is hurt, was it that stage dive at the beginning of the match? Look at his leg, and it looked like it was the foot that was hurt. Look at where that goes on the rail. And I was just like, when I saw it, I was like, oh, that seems like a really bad idea. And now I'm just like, fuck, I hope you didn't damage yourself on a stupid stage dive.
And it's kind of something that I've been kind of taking away too is just like seeing some of Punk's recent matches is like he needs to start working out, like because like I see him like struggle to pick people up, like it's like he's gonna hurt somebody or he's gonna hurt himself, and just so happens he did. So I'm hoping this is not everybody needs to be super jacked, but like there are certain moves that you can't be doing if you can't securely pick somebody up like that without hurting yourself or somebody else. And I just see him struggle to try to pull off some of these reversals, and it's it does really affect the performance for me.
And you can see where he's gotten in better shape since his return. But yeah, you've seen him struggle several times during matches, Double or Nothing.
I mean, we've
botched
had a couple
lariats.
botches, a couple like significant botches lately with him.
Two of the buckshot lariats in the pay-per-view. There was one where he fell off the top rope, I think, in this match. Like he slipped on the rope or whatever. He was having issues. He's not been as smooth. I went back and watched a couple, including his the match with Austin Aries where he won the ROH title for the first time. He's seeing how good he was, and for me, I think that was probably Punk at his very best in the ring. Is right around that era of ROH. He's not even close to that right now, and a lot of people are like, "This is the best he's ever been." I just don't think they remember how good he was at one point. If they think this is the best,
but I mean, that was also
certainly not the
Like,
that was
like 20
what?
years ago.
Yeah, 15
like
years
14, 15
ago.
years ago.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, people saying that is just like, it's not true.
Sure.
He's not the best he's ever been. Everything else is still very, very good. He can still talk better than 99% of people out there. But and it makes you think, like, is it the fact that AEW doesn't do house shows? They're not, he's not working, several matches a week to get up to that kind of ring speed and like ring just conditioning in general. Is that a bad thing at this point? Because he's not going to be working most likely any independent shows.
Look, I think as much as I don't want to say it because of how out of hand it's gotten with WWE in the past, I think the answer to a lot of the things that we're talking about and are going to talk about, I'm sure, I think they need more TV time now.
For sure.
Take Rampage to 2 hours, and get it get it in a better time slot. Like, I think at this point, I mean, it'll, and this is a whole other topic. We need to get more women on the show. They really need to work
100%.
on that. And 100%. I mean, give them.
They're doing better with women, I'll say. They did have 3 concurrent stories going on. It's better than the one they had before. And they're still just in year 3. They did have 3 concurrent stories going on in the pay-per-view for women's matches, which is a lot better than they had done previously.
Man, I don't know. When your champ is gone from TV for weeks and weeks at a time, like I just what do you say? I mean, I think
Thunder Rosa's been on TV. She wasn't on Monday. She was on like the previous 3 weeks.
How is your women's champion not on the show after
she was sick?
One of
apparently,
your biggest pay-per-views of the year.
She was at home.
Well, I mean,
how many weeks in a row leading up to? I mean, you can't say we haven't had weeks where your women's champ. I mean, are you telling me Thunder Rosa gets Britt Baker attention? Britt Baker's still on TV every week, and she hasn't been champion in months.
But Britt can speak, and Thunder Rosa still stumbles through promos.
Then don't make her champ. Then she doesn't need to be champion. Then I guess
they rely.
But she wrestles better than Britt.
Don't book her as champion. Well, then I guess you need a higher caliber of talent. Then because I mean,
they certainly do. And they just signed the former Ember Moon. They have Ruby Riott, who also needs a lot of coaching on the mic, like fun in the ring. But they've got a lot of that. Their women's division is easily their weakest division.
They rely too much on Britt Baker, who does not put together matches that well. She can speak some of the time, not all of the time. No, Eddie, it's true. A lot of people point that out. She cuts the same promo from week to week. It's the same mean girl shit over and over again. Jamie Hayter's a better wrestler than Britt Baker in that stable. Yeah. And they have Tony Storm. Tony Storm was hot as hell.
I thought
wrestling wise,
literally and figuratively.
I thought that I had some issues with the booking of the Owen Hart tournaments.
That was awful.
First of all, don't run 2 month-long tournaments at the same time when you only do 3 hours of TV a week, because guess what? You don't have time for any other stories. But beside the point, I thought it was just a terrible, terrible booking to have Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm, who I think are 2 of your strongest. I mean, Tony Storm clearly, and I think Jamie Hayter is a really, really strong prospect. To have them going up against each other in the first round, I thought was terrible booking. Like, they should have made a bigger deal out of that. And the only build to it was like 3 really terribly performed backstage promos. And that's all we got. And I'm like, these are 2 women that you should be like building up to be like face of the division type of people. I mean, I just thought it was terrible booking.
Agreed.
Like pretty much all of their women's division, except for Jade Cargill.
Yeah, agree.
And
She
her
is,
matches are also something.
Yeah, like she's the female Scott Steiner for me. Like I love her look. I love her promos. Matches are like
She's she's so young and she's so new. I mean, she's got all the time in the world to improve, and she has improved. I'm not saying she's a great wrestler yet, but I mean, she'll get there. She has all the tools to get there, I think.
sure.
Those damn abs. Those abs.
Oh,
All right.
I just wanted to punch me in the face. I'm sorry.
She can grind my face against them like a cheese grinder. Let's move on to the second
You
part.
guys are like me and Ruby Soho. Oh Lord.
The second phase of Dynamite here, and we're kicking it off, and I think this is the first thing that tells everybody, hey, they're giving him TV time. It's a work. Sean Ross Sapp got worked, and it's MJF. He's coming out to give a promo. He's immediately looks perturbed. Looks like he wants to be there a little bit more than Double or Nothing. Throws off the scarf when he gets in the ring, and then he proceeds to cut a 9+ minute promo that has left, I think, most of the wrestling world until last night with the announcement from CM Punk buzzing, has dominated the headlines. I thought it was a tremendous promo. I think it was probably one of the best in the modern age. I think there's a little bit of Brett there. There's a little bit of Pillman, and there's certainly a lot of bit of Punk in there. I thought it was a tremendous promo. How'd you guys take it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is what honestly, this is the first thing I've seen in AEW that I really liked. It's not anything new exactly, but it was nice for somebody to finally acknowledge, look at AEW from a different perspective, where it's like the fans are marks, the owner is a mark. Like, you guys are just jerking each other off all day. Like, he's like, I'm out here busting my ass. Like, I need the respect. I need the pay. Like, it's like you shit all over WWE, but you pay these guys millions of dollars to come in. Like, I like that. It was good to see it, like, let them paint themselves in a negative light for once. And I thought he did an excellent job with that. And the viral aspect of it is good. Now, I get why the AEW Twitter posted it, but like, if they wanted to make it look like it worked, they wouldn't have let it just be completely viral. But I really liked it. Like, and I'm excited to see where they go with it.
And what they've done since then too is has made it seem less like a work or more like a like a real, in as much as like they've removed MJF's profile from the roster on the website. They've also shut down his store on Shop AEW.
Yeah,
I appreciate the dedication to the work that they're.
Yeah,
right.
I like it.
It does make you think, though, at the same time that a whole thing going on WWE with Sasha Banks and them that's a work too. Like, it's like, okay, but yeah, no, I like the dedication too, and like the it comes from a real place. Like, as far as the dirt sheets would have you believe and stuff like that. And
like every really great storyline, there's truth in it. Even though it is a work, it's based in. I mean, there is some truth to, I'm sure, him being unhappy with his pay and them, and of course the rumors that he'll end up in WWE one day and all of this,
especially with the Cody Rhodes situation.
Sure, exactly,
and Cody being the one that brought him in.
Yeah. So I think that they've done a pretty excellent job so far of perpetrating the work, I guess.
Like, and I think it's and when AEW does things, when they really do something good, they do it really, really well, I think. And when they do something bad, it's really, really bad. This in this case, I think they're doing all the things that, and you're seeing it in a couple different spots, especially with Punk and this and a few other guys, where you're seeing like good fundamental core wrestling, and you're seeing like a touch of reality and kayfabe thrown in there, and that's what makes for for great wrestling. Like the old school way still works. Kayfabe can still work. You're just gonna have to figure out a different way to do it. And if that was because they worked some fans at an autograph signing, I think that's great. I don't think it's the shadiest thing a promoter's done in the world to have an autograph signing and have them somebody not show up. And if that made you hate him, he's a heel. It makes you hate him more. And if he's working the wrestling media, I think that's even more hilarious. I don't know if you watched the post Double or Nothing scrum with Tony, but that's real weird. That's a real weird situation there.
He is very unlikable.
He talks in this weird Trumpian like voice, like where it's like up here when he's like trying to be forceful, and then he looks like he's cracked out on Adderall, and he's always very, very defensive.
Yeah,
let's not forget this is a billionaire we're dealing with.
Yeah.
I mean, there don't seem to be a lot of good ones.
No, like he is somebody that I take issue with too, because he is he needs to know his place. Like either act like an owner, like if you want to be a character, be a character. Like but like don't act like a big fanboy. Like pick one. Like it just doesn't like it's it gets too personal, like too quick, and it just makes it look like he's just like throwing his money around, hanging out with the boys kind of thing. And I don't care for it. Like at least when Vince, the Mr. Man character, like, he established who he was and that he was, evil, like this guy is trying to be your friend, but it's not working. It's not working for me.
Well, like, and that's what I'm kind of wondering. Does he, with the MJF promo and all that, does he end up being an on-screen character? He said that he didn't want to be an on-screen character. He's only made like, I think, 2, maybe 3 appearances total on AEW television. He did there's a couple things where he cut the Khan promo on Impact when they were doing some stuff during the pandemic. But really, you haven't seen him. Most of anything you've heard about Tony Khan is, on the internet.
I frankly don't want to. Like,
I don't either. I don't need him on TV.
Just if you're going to be the owner, go be the owner. I mean, and I think David is spot on. If you want to be a character, be a character. But yeah, it does.
You can reference him though as the owner. Like he doesn't necessarily have to appear, and you can be pissed at him. He can be like the off-screen Oz that you never see. And Vince was like that, where he didn't acknowledge being the owner for how many years?
Even though he was an on-screen character for years before it was acknowledged that he owned the company.
But he didn't even play it like he was an owner. He played a completely different character back then.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, me being a little kid, me being a little tiny Mark, as opposed to a big old Mark now, I don't think I knew that Vince owned the company back then.
Oh, I had no idea for the longest time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that promo was fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. AEW has been very diligent about anybody that posts that promo. They've been going after them and getting it taken down. They've removed MJF from everywhere. MJF's got like uncharacteristically gone really, really silent on social. Like his last 3 liked tweets are pretty interesting. One of them is from Cody Rhodes, and another is just about how from some wrestling dirt sheet about how he's gonna like want more money and stuff, and how other people are going to want to now that he's doing what he's doing. But I thought it's pretty interesting. From there, they move the show on. We get a return, and I think everybody should be happy about this return, because if David, if you haven't seen the promos Miro's been cutting during his last run, he's cut some really great promos that are cut in a certain way, and they always include something about his very flexible wife.
Yeah.
I'm such a big fan of Miro. I loved him when he was Rusev, and he's even better now. And I'm so happy he's back, because frankly, the moment that the TNT Championship picture just turned to shit was the moment he lost the belt.
Oh, it's been awful. And I'm glad to see him back. Was a little surprised to see them bringing back John Morrison, aka Johnny Elite here. Again, after he was the Joker. and
Johnny
basically,
Dynamite is so much better. Johnny Dynamite.
well, he might wrestle on Rampage, and he's probably going to wrestle on Dark if they sign him, because he's not signed right now, but they've picked him up to be
I
a
did
jobber,
get the
basically.
impression when he debuted that when the name Johnny Elite popped up on the screen that people thought it was Gargano. People thought it was
the
Gargano
AEW
and popped
AEW
huge
on
and then
TNT.
realized who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AEW on TNT even tagged Johnny Gargano in a tweet when it happened because they thought it was him.
Oh my god!
Yeah, because it's not AEW that runs that.
Right.
Twitter.
It's
Warner's. So it's like, oh yeah, everybody was let down, but the Bucks have a really good
nothing against
relationship
John
with-
Morrison or Johnny, whatever his name is.
But he doesn't excite me at all. I personally hope they don't sign him. I think they've got a really, really big roster right now. I don't think he fits in anywhere or necessarily adds anything to the company that's needed. You've got a million guys in spots like him. He's a better Matt Sydal.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting seeing him coming in and being willing to come in as a more or less a jobber, though. Kind of interesting, but Miro comes back, just beats the crap out of him, stretches him real good, and
then went
crowd
home and stretched his flexible hot wife.
Exactly. But yeah, fine match. Great to see Miro back. I'm glad he's done recording, and his neck made of sand or whatever he said is healed.
Oh god, his promos about his god, and he's so good.
Is he gonna wrestle God?
He's so good. He's so good, and I so dig the Redeemer gimmick, and I just couldn't be happier that he's back. He's great.
But is God going to sign to AEW? Is that the next step?
That'd be a big coup because he did wrestle for Vince in 2006.
They're stealing all of Sean's boys.
I hope that Miro redeems Kip Sabian. Is what happens.
Where the hell's he?
He's been. Have you seen the guy in the front row wearing the bag over his head?
That's Kip Sabian.
That's Kip Sabian.
Oh, okay.
I love that gimmick. It's just they're not doing anything with it.
And where the F is Penelope Ford?
That's my
She's
question.
one of the better wrestlers you got in the women's division. She's
been gone forever.
Crazy. She put on the hell of a match in Rampage and haven't used her since. They didn't even use her in her hometown when they were in Philadelphia. Anyway, we'll move on. And now we got Eddie Kingston coming out, who I didn't like that match, but man, that was a moment. If you don't remember anything from that match, and I don't know how you could remember pretty much anything from that match because it's so chaotic, you remember Eddie Kingston coming out drenched in blood, a New York Yankees shirt, and a can of gasoline, just shaking like a zombie. And now he's out here alone. His friends, as you saw the end of Double or Nothing, there was some friction, and now he wants blood and guts. He's out.
Someone's got friction with Eddie Kingston.
Surprise! That's not reality running over into it. And he wants it, and then Regal said the thing. He said the thing. He said blood and guts.
War games.
Games. Yeah. But it was cool. I'm liking Regal there, and I want War Games, but I don't know how this is or Blood and Guts. But I think they rushed it. Like I don't know how that's your immediate stop, and why necessarily Jericho would run right into it, even with like the little cutting of his hair thing, which I thought was really weird to throw in there.
Well, and here's the thing: is we can talk about all this, but as we're talking right now, just last night, Punk relinquished the title, which I think throws a monkey wrench into all of these plans, because if we're going to have an interim champion, then to me it would make the most sense to maybe like get someone who's already had the title in one of those spots. And to me, Mox makes the most sense.
Well, Mox is the number one contender, and whoever wins the battle royal is wrestling Mox.
So this could, this development could kind of change what they may have had planned going forward with some of those guys. I feel like they shouldn't blow a first time.
Give him the Mick Foley pop, man. Pull the trigger. Have it be a big thing.
No, I think
throw him up on the shoulders.
I think one day it's going to happen, and I want it to happen. But I also don't think you should maybe blow because that's kind of the question right now: is who's going to be the first two-time? We haven't had a two-time AEW champion. It seems to me let's just get it out of the way. Let's make it Mox.
And depending on how long Punk's out, you can make it even more interesting if you put Wardlow in there. Maybe MJF gets it and he teases teases something with it.
I'll be honest.
They could get real weird.
What I was really hoping for, the fantasy booker in me was really hoping that we were going to have the summer of Punk again, leading to a big double turn with Punk and MJF, kind of a whole summer storyline of Punk, and then we got the whole MJF work shoot thing going on that culminates in like a big double turn, and MJF gets the title.
You would think that that's what was going to happen.
That's what I was hoping for. Obviously, that's not happening now.
You would think that that's what's going to happen. I mean, MJF got a babyface pop for the first time outside of Long Island.
Yeah, so, I just think they had all the tools for, and then maybe that was the plan, and now it can't be. But
so what's actually going to happen is it's going to be Jericho versus Moxley, and then Jericho's going to win and be the first 2-time champ, right?
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I think there's more interesting things to do there.
There are definitely more interesting things. But what's going to happen somehow will end up being that.
I think you might get something with Wardlow, honestly, and MJF somehow. I think it's too not going to be surprised if they get injected in.
I think they're gonna distance Wardlow from MJF at this point. I think that story is done. I think Wardlow needs to move on to something else, because that's really all we've seen him do at this point is work with MJF.
But it was like, honestly, Dynamite felt like nothing had happened for him. He came in, he did a little squash. It felt like, and then MJF put on that hell of a promo. Nobody cared about what Wardlow was doing. He was getting heated up. Now it's just like, eh.
Well, I think that's because of the whole work shoot aspect of it. I mean, because there was the whole story of him maybe no showing the pay-per-view, and I mean that's what everybody going into Sunday and Monday, or Sunday and Wednesday was talking about. So I mean, of course,
and you can't have MJF take 20 or 10 power bombs, however many he took, and that be the end of it. I think there's going to be some sort of retribution there at one point.
I think that's a perfect end of it. To be honest with, in my opinion, I mean, MJF got what was coming to him.
That's the first time he's actually gotten come up. It's like in a real way. Like normally he, gets beat, but nothing bad happens, and Wardlow beat him into the ground.
And I've just loved, because I've loved the whole booking of MJF this year, particularly with the storyline with Punk, and then Wardlow, and that bleeding over with Wardlow finally turning, and then the whole MJF Wardlow feud. I just think that for now they need to distance themselves. I frankly think MJF probably need to strike while the iron's hot and really go forward with this work shoot storyline and maybe get the belt on him this year.
Watch him wear like a lucha mask and win.
Yeah, Wardlow. I feel like Wardlow would be a great TNT champion. Why wouldn't he be good? It'd be better than the storylines we've got going on in the TNT picture, again, since Miro lost it.
That being said, I like Scorpio Sky, but he has been given absolutely nothing to work with. The Sammy and Tay that thing needs to go away. It's one of the worst storylines in wrestling.
I don't understand the whole Men of the Year and Dan Lambert is just a bad fit. Like, none of it makes any sense.
That feels very just thrown together.
It feels very thrown together. And also, Ethan Page doesn't need him.
He doesn't need him. Yeah, he doesn't.
He doesn't need anyone talking for him. He is the breakout star, as far as I'm concerned, of that little group. And I really hope that we get a lot more of him sooner rather than later, because I can. Whoa, what is that?
It's probably my air conditioning.
Oh.
Hang on. I'll make sure that gets talk amongst yourselves. I'll make sure that gets turned off.
I thought they were trying to tell us something. Like,
I think there was a ghost passing through my computer. It was like, get out.
Stop talking about Dan Lambert.
Don't talk about Dan Lambert. No one cares.
Erase this from your memories.
You're right. Ethan Page is really good.
Oh, the Blue Bard Ghost.
He is really good, and I'm enjoying it for the most part. And if you saw any of Ethan Page's stuff he did, even if it was the Karate Man gimmick, and in Impact, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, going back to it, I just think that I think maybe TNT Championship should be the next logical step for Wardlow. Get him in a good feud. Give me Wardlow and Miro, and you talk about big meaty men slapping meat. I mean, that's it right there. Give me a hoss fight. AEW needs more hoss fights.
They do, and we've finally gotten some. They finally got some guys that aren't so tiny in the same size, which they all just had these, as some people would call it, vanilla midgets for a while, and it wasn't very interesting as far as like the David type of Goliath battles. That's starting to change slowly. We'll see what happens. On to the next match of Dynamite, we had a 10-man tag, which is a weird menagerie of people here, just because there were some injuries to both Adam Cole during Double or Nothing, and of course Jeff Hardy, who just looks like a broken human being. Apparently the Darby match really took it out of him, and he was just if you saw the Hardys Bucks match at Double or Nothing, it wasn't great, and it wasn't what you had expected. The Bucks definitely carried them through it. Both Jeff and Matt look rough, but you got Darby, Matt Hardy, Jungle Boy, Christian, and Luchasaurus against the Bucks. A member of Bullet Club that we can talk about here, and Red Dragon. What are you guys feeling on these 10-man tags? Does this feel a little bit too raw main event for you? I think it was good, but wasn't anything special.
Yeah, as far as just as a wrestling match, I kind of enjoyed it. Like, there's there was some good use of, there's a lot of moves that AEW does that I don't care for, because it's just too, I don't want to say too flashy. It's just unnecessary. Canadian pile drivers and stuff like that. When those are done right, they look great. But when they're doing it just to do it, it's irritating to me. This match, I felt like, had a good mix of like veterans who knew how to kind of keep things calm down, and then like some of the younger guys who could flip around and do all that stuff, and it worked well. And it was just kind of you had a bunch of different dynamics in it. So it was a nice just wrestling match.
And we almost saw Hikuleo. I think that's how you say his name.
Hikuleo.
He almost like freaking brained himself there with that dive.
Oh my God, that was very scary.
Landed right on his head. And we've seen a
Yes,
couple of
he
these
did.
things happen recently in AEW. Like, you need to pay attention to what they're doing a little bit. That's it's a TV show. You don't need to. Well, maybe he does, since it's first thing off New Japan. But like, you don't need to necessarily do some of these things on a TV show.
Yeah,
Was that
was scary.
you're referring to like the reverse Hurricane Rana?
No, he did a dive to the outside over the top rope, and just straight to his head.
Okay, I didn't catch that exactly.
Yeah, that was scary.
Seeing that, I don't know what they're calling it exactly, but when they do those reverse Hurricane Ranas, like that is
Reverse
Like,
Rana.
yeah, those are scary. Like that looks like it's just gonna kill somebody.
Yeah, like you got to tuck your head and put your elbows down, and that still looks like you're about to die.
Yeah, obviously,
it still looks like you're about to die.
There's a safe way to do it, but like
it's still pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
A decent match. I don't know where this gets them. I think we're seeing Christian Cage. He's looking like he's going to turn heel on Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. I think it's long past time. I really thought Jungle Express was going to lose the tag titles at Double or Nothing. They didn't. They left it on them. I think they're pretty boring. I think Luchasaurus is dragging Jungle Boy down. If he's really one of your pillars, I think it's time you get him away from that dead weight. And you do something with Christian, because he's been there and he's a great worker by all accounts, but he's done nothing really other than the small feud with Kenny Omega and his little run on Impact.
Yeah, I could see. I think we've got a breakup coming for Jurassic Express. It seems like they're really pushing the Christian is intentionally trying to drive a wedge in there, and I think he did the thing where he hoisted him up on his shoulders like Luchasaurus did, Christian did, and it was just like, okay, that's
Luchasaurus gave him a look too.
Yeah,
I thought we were going to get
I don't know the place for someone like Luchasaurus, outside of a team like that. I like him fine enough, but I don't really know that he has much of a ceiling.
That's when they bring in another dinosaur, like in time for
a dinosaur stable.
Yeah, like
love it.
That would be Julian's favorite. Julian would love that.
Oh my goodness. I think Luchasaurus, I think he's hit his ceiling. He's not the best worker. He's hurt more than a few people. And I don't know what you do with him at this point. I think he's going to be one of those Joey Janela, Marco Stunt type of guys. They had their run. It'll give him some money on the indies, probably do some autograph signings, but I don't think he's probably going to be too long for AEW. It's not going to surprise me in a year if he's gone. I just don't know what you do with him. Yeah. A meteor named Tony Khan will hit, and he will be gone. Bucks break out the Meltzer.
I'll be honest, it is kind of sad seeing that, like, the early AEW guys kind of fallen by the wayside. And as much as I love it, it's the right call to get guys like Punk and Danielson and Moxley and all that. Well, Moxley's been around almost since the beginning, but it's kind of sad seeing that old generation of AEW guys and girls, kind of making their way out the door.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's also like kind of one of those things too. It's like just reiterate that it is a business. Like you can they shit all over WWE for being a business, and it's like, but at the end of the day, they're the exact same thing.
Yes.
And it's I don't know where I'm going with it, other than it's like it's not hypocritical. It's just necessary. Like
I mean, the fact of the matter is that WWE was shitty letting all the people go when they did and all that. But I mean, again, I'm not defending the big corporation. I'm just saying that's the way big corporations work.
Yeah, they're both owned by millionaires.
That's the way businesses work, and ultimately, this is a show, and there's not. And I think WWE, despite it's obviously sucks people losing their jobs, I think the WWE product has not greatly, but has certainly improved since they have decided to kind of be like, okay, we're not hoarding talent, and we're not interested in hoarding indie talent. If you want to go do that, go do AEW, because that's what AEW is. I feel like that's the attitude, and we're going to do our thing, and we're going to focus on who we really want to be here, and instead of trying, because a couple years ago there's going to be NXT Japan, there's going to be NXT Europe, there's going to be NXT China. We didn't get any of that, and doesn't seem to be the goal of the company anymore. I know we're mainly talking about AEW today, but
it's true. The vision is narrowed. I think Triple H isn't necessarily there anymore. They're playing to that same core audience they've had for years and years and years. Whether can expand, who knows?
The fact of the matter is that beginning in about 2014. NXT was basically a super indie, and now AEW fills that void, that wrestling void. So and I think, which is why, honestly, rebranding NXT was a smart decision, because there's no point in WWE trying to run their own style, like super indie type show to compete with AEW. I think that, the attitude was, let AEW be AEW.
It's funny because, AEW is basically at this point, for the most part, is NXT black and gold.
It is,
and NXT worked as a feeder to them, and I think that's good and bad. But I think there is something that's lost there if you look at some of those Dynamites and everything from like 2019, October 2019 through right at the pandemic. No crowd was hotter in wrestling. No product felt like anything could happen, and somewhere along the way, things have changed. It's not necessarily like that anymore. And I think that's part of the roster. I think that's part of
they've grown.
The world.
I think
and good and bad too to that.
I think they've grown. They have clearly they've made business decisions, like bring in CM Punk, bring in Bryan Danielson and these big money contracts, and And there is something to be said, and I think that's why there's a kernel of truth to the whole MJF promo, David, like you were talking about, of, you know, you bring in all these WWE guys, you shit all over WWE for doing a lot of the same things that you do, but you'll pay these guys who, you know, largely to a wide audience made their name in WWE. You'll pay these guys millions of dollars, but, you know, the guys that were here in 2019 and holding shit down when we were running empty arenas during COVID, you know, are getting kind of forgotten about. And I think there's certainly some truth to that. I mean, who are your highest paid guys in the company, right? It's Jericho, ex-WWE guy, Moxley, ex-WWE guy.
Apparently, Mark Henry.
Adam Cole. Mark Henry.
Mark Henry is getting paid more than MJF right now. And he doesn't wrestle and won't wrestle. Like, he's got to get a few surgeries. He's doing other things, which is...
Eddie, he says weird. It's time for the main event. What else do you want?
He said it's time for the main event, and then they go to a rundown of 30 the main event. He goes, it's time for the main event. Here's a rundown of 30 things we're doing over the next 7 weeks. And then it's like, then it's a commercial, and then it's the effing main event. Dumbest thing ever. Anyway.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Can we talk about the picture-in-picture commercial? I can't get past it. Like, we all grew up watching cable, right? You know, it's like when you hear a commercial, you get up and go do what you need to do, and then you come back. I hear a commercial, I get up and do the same thing. Yeah. Like I don't watch it. I have no idea what happens during the commercial because I'm not there. And I can't condition myself differently
that WWE used to do. Because they would give you other reasons to go to it during the commercial break, and you could have it on like your iPad or whatever. I thought that was cool,
I did like that. That was a good idea.
But yeah, it's annoying. I don't think it's restaurant quality, as JR says. I think it's just there, and it's not great. I don't think it's helpful. If you watch it on Fight overseas, they actually don't have any commercials, so there's actual commentary over those parts. It's kind of funny. But anyway, the 10-man tag ends with the Bucks hitting the Meltzer driver, score the win. We'll see what happens there. Next segment, Tony Schiavone actually gets to hold the mic and do a bit of an interview here as he interviews Athena Palmer, the former Ember Moon. How do you guys feel about this signing and just this feud they've set up with Jade Cargill, the baddies, with Kiera Hogan, Red Velvet, and Stokely Hathaway, which is the perfect addition as Jade's publicist to that stable. How are you feeling about that? Does that excite you guys? Do you think that's gonna help Jade progress and get her over even more? Because she's pretty over right now.
I do think so. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'm honestly a little hesitant with a lot of these new signings that they've been doing because I feel like there's just been so many of them, and they come in and they push them for a few weeks up to a big match, and then you don't hear from them forever. I feel like, okay, we're going to get a build to a big Athena Jade Cargill match, and then Athena will be off TV for 6 weeks.
And it
just like Ruby Soho when she came in, you know,
and that killed her momentum too. And it kind of feels like, if you remember when Jericho first came into WWF, like he came in, they brought him in hot, like with that promo with him, and then he just loses a bunch of matches after that. Like Vince jobbed him out pretty bad, and then he built him back up. I don't know if Tony is as aware and as thoughtful of a booker as that. Maybe we'll see. But I don't know. His track record, it's like onto another shiny thing, and some people get left in the wake.
Yeah, I mean, I'm as excited about it as I can be about one of the dozens of ex-WWE signings that we've got who kind of languish in the mid-card.
Yeah, it seems like there's been kind of a dynamic shift with AEW signing up everybody now, and it seems like, you know, W's just like, yeah, go work there, make a name for yourself. Like, you know, if we want you back, we'll pay you the money, you know. But like in the meantime, like we don't have TV time for you. You know, it's you're not a draw. So
I think it's an interesting dynamic that we've been setting up, and I think that WWE seems to have like really refocused what they like, for better or worse. This is our product, I'll be honest, I think that it has. I think WWE might be the best it's been in 3 or 4 years at the moment.
Honestly, yeah, it hasn't been bad lately. Like
honestly, I'd say it's the best it's been since 2018, maybe.
Yeah,
2019. Like, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. And I know we're getting off on a whole other topic here, but I think that WWE really they focused on what they feel like their product should be, and I think it's just an interesting dynamic that you have this other alternative now in AEW, and now we've kind of ripped the Band-Aid off of going the other way. We've seen so many people coming from WWE to AEW, and now we've had the first really big one jump the other way, and
which I think is, I can't wait to just dive into that on an episode. Just the story of Cody Rhodes and what's going on now. That's really the only thing I've kept up with WWE, and I think I'm not going to say he's not over because he's certainly over right now. But man, they're doing some things that just makes me think fans are going to end up hating him eventually. Like the Cody countdown.
They're pooching him very much. Like
I heard a lot of complaints, but when there were all the rumors that he was going, that he's gonna be hanging out in the mid card, he's gonna be doing this and that, and I think to their credit, I mean, since he came back at Mania, he is the main character on Raw. I mean, he is your number one babyface because because the titles are unified at the moment, so there isn't really a Raw title. Like, that is the main storyline on Raw. He is your main character right now, for better or worse. I mean, he is getting the promo time. He's getting to wrestle. I mean, he is getting, I think, what he wanted.
Sure, yeah.
And he gets to be what he really wanted, which is a really over babyface, which didn't seem like it was ever going to happen in AEW.
But I think you can't discount a few things that were different in the presentation. Yeah, it's a more spruced up presentation of him. It's exactly the same but different. He doesn't have the entourage with him, and he doesn't have the biggest heat getting thing that really I think people hated about him. I know I personally did in AEW was Brandy Rhodes. She's miserable. In every extent of the word, she's miserable. Name one good thing she did in AEW.
They've replaced
now name any bad thing.
Like they've replaced Brandy Rhodes with the ghost of Dusty Rhodes, and
it's much preferable.
It is.
Although not as nice to look at, I will say.
Anyway, moving on to
it does got that belly.
Oh boy, the seventh card of the match, or the seventh segment of the card for Dynamite, we got Wardlow versus JD Drake, one of the wingmen from the dregs of AEW Dark. Same old.
We've kind of already talked about Wardlow.
He power bombed him. It's like nothing ever happened. He didn't have as big of a pop as he had in previous weeks. They didn't do the Goldberg kind of walked intro with him to the ring.
Kind of Goldberg.
Well, they didn't do it anymore. They had security. Yeah. They had security previous weeks walking to him, and he was getting the Wardlow, Wardlow chant. And now it's we'll see what happens there. I could see that very much being something that gets dropped to the wayside, like AEW is known to do sometimes.
He reminds me of Wrath from WCW. He's kind of like that same tier, like Goldberg Light, who gets over until they need him to get somebody else over.
He's got the athleticism. I would say that's fair. Got the athleticism at Canyon though. Like he can do some really crazy shit that you wouldn't expect a big man to do.
Yeah.
All right, over to the eighth segment. We got Ruby Soho. Chris is excited. And Tony Storm versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter. Same old. I love Ruby Soho's intro as always. It was really cool having Rancid do it at Double or Nothing, which just proves don't come in at the chorus. Let's start at the beginning of the song. It's a really good song. You don't need to come in on that part. Give us some time to build up. Yeah, it was a fine match, but I don't know. I want to see I want to see Ruby Soho get pushed and actually be decent. And she actually cut an okay promo. She sounded less nervous this week because when she normally does things, it's always like you can tell she's recited this in her head in front of a mirror like 10 times, and she has that shaky warbliness to her voice. She felt more confident this week, I felt like, when she was speaking.
I just want to see them doing better things with all of them, honestly. I want to see better booking across the entire women's division, except Jade Cargill. Keep doing your thing, Jade.
I think we'll see that eventually, and hopefully, I know Kenny Omega is backstage again. And he's working with women as far as like producing matches and stuff. Whether that's good or not, who knows? Whether that means I guess if he's got a lot of stroke, we'll start seeing more Joshis again. But we haven't. I want all these. I like all these women, to be honest. But again, it's not doing much for me. But I'm glad Ruby at least got the pin here. Mm-hmm. And on to our main event, we got Jon Moxley versus Daniel Garcia. Again, Moxley beat up for the night before, bleeding all over the place. It's like he's Ric Flair there during that last WWE run. He's bleeding all the damn time. And then like another highlight of this match is Kingston running so hard to the ring that he almost pulled a Titus. Like he almost ate shit and died. But that was pretty funny. It was fine. I think they need to tone back a little bit. Like this show really told me curse words are fun, and I think they're needed in wrestling sometimes. I don't think we needed this amount of curse words, especially after the segment with MJF. There was a lot of cuss words. And I don't think we need blood all the time. I think when you do color so often, it loses its effect.
I would agree. I think it's, and I know those are the kind of matches Moxley likes to do, and I like Moxley. I just don't dig I don't dig blood all the time. I think there's a place for it, but yeah, I agree.
Do you think Moxley at this point is just one kind of match?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, yeah, maybe.
It's kind of how it feels in some way. That it's just one kind of match at this point.
Yeah.
I think when he's forced to work, he works better. And that's like when you look at this stuff where he was wrestling Bryan Danielson. He works very well. Of course, Bryan makes everybody work to him because he's that damn good. At this point, I think Mox is just left to his own devices, and he does what he wants.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
But at least we got the melee there, and looks like blood and guts is going to happen. Yay! And we close out again. We close out a Dynamite that ran over by a couple minutes. At least it wasn't a 6 minute with a commercial in between Jeff Hardy and Adam Cole main event. Okay, on to Rampage. For the first time since starting AEW, the Young Bucks wrestling minutes away from where they started their backyard wrestling in California. They're wrestling the Lucha Bros, which I thought was a great match to start it off. Have a good match to kind of jumpstart it here. For this hour program. Unsurprisingly, the Bucks won, but as always, you get kind of the fun Lucha Bros Bucks match. If you've seen it once, you've seen it a million times, but I think it's all fairly entertaining, if not the same.
It's a spot fest, but it gets the crowd hot, and
yeah, like interested to see what they do with the Bucks. I've not seen.
Oh no!
Interesting that Chris just left. Oh boy, wherever Chris went there. But yeah, like I think it's interesting that they kind of went away, and now they're at this point where I don't know if the Bucks have meant less than they have at this point than at any other point in the program.
Yeah, but what do they really need to mean? Like, I kind of appreciate that they're not like hogging so much time. They're good. They're like I didn't like them for a long time, but then I kind of felt like I realized I was kind of getting worked myself, like because they are really good heels, and like I appreciate that aspect of them. But they're on top. They're in a good place. Like where else can you go as a tag team? So they've got their factions, they've got and all that stuff, and there's no else they need to be. Like
I feel like they've been put like, and you've seen Tony do this, especially if you look at the Hangman Page, Kenny Omega feud from last year. I feel like they've kind of been put in stasis while Kenny's gone, and they're heating things up with the Undisputed Elite and Adam Cole, because it's going to end up being eventually Adam Cole and the Red Dragon against Omega and the Bucks. Maybe we'll even get what's his face over there, and we'll have the complete Undisputed Era happening with Roderick Strong, and then we'll have maybe Page, because he's left flying in the wind at this point. Maybe he'll join back up with the Elite and, feel like he actually deserves to be a part of the group, because part of that was his confidence of not, feeling like he was a champion and carrying his weight as good as the rest of the guys was part of the storyline. So maybe that's what brings him back into the fold.
Hangman, I think, could be due for a heel turn, even if it doesn't last for very long.
Maybe, and I mean, heel turn is joining the Bucks. They are heels right now.
I know.
Whether they'd make them heels going into an Undisputed Era, I don't know. I think Adam Cole's probably better suited for that.
Yeah.
We'll see though. I'm excited about that, and I think we're gonna get a little bit more of that. Maybe just like either the beginning of it or a big part. Probably at Forbidden Door, because when they announced it, they were like, this is about the Undisputed Elite. This is about Bullet Club. So I think we're going to get something there, some sort of like Bullet Club Civil War type thing, and with including Jay White. So I think that's going to be exciting to see where that goes and have it be cross promotional. Second match of the night, we have Kiera Hogan versus Athena, the former Ember Moon. Kind of expected this. The baddies are pin magnets for Jade, because she's not going to be taking any. But they're going to get heated up along the way with her, and probably a little bit more popularized and get some TV time. But they're definitely going to be taking some pins. I thought Ember Moon looked fine. Those wings on her entrance jacket, I don't think came off as cool as she thought they did.
Yeah, I thought that was a little.
Right.
Yeah. But, you need
look how fancy.
You need to set the mood a little bit more before you bring those out.
Yeah.
Maybe some fog or something. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me. It was fine. She looks fine. I know she's been wrestling the indies a little bit. Hopefully that she can get running there. Jericho, as always, I don't know how you guys feel about him, but I think he ruins some matches with his commentary. He's pretty bad.
Yeah. I like him for the most part, but yeah, sometimes he gets a little too I don't know if distract is the right word, but like it doesn't seem like he's like reading any notes or anything before this stops, because he'll contradict himself a lot, or contradict the storyline a lot
all the time,
and then just kind of like play it off as like, oh, I'm a heel, like of course, like I say what I want, like but I like him for the most part. That's something I do like about AEW in general, is like the amount of guest commentators. I like that that's a recurring thing. Even though it is a lot of Jericho, but I like Jericho.
I like him. It just sounds like he's trying to do his best 80s rock voice when he does it. And it's just like, I don't know that I necessarily need that. He talks over a lot of people, and it's just very grating. Like it's sure, always in a like Twisted Sister, like type mode. It's just like tone it the F down, man. I don't know. But yeah, Athena, fine. Baddie's fine. Dear God, Jade, I think I love you, but I'm scared of you.
My
and
dick
I
is
wish Chris
afraid
was
of
here.
her.
I want to. Yeah, it is. I wish Chris was here because we get to the big moment, the big announcement, with tears in his eyes, hobbling down the ramp. CM Punk to announce the crowd less than a week after winning the AEW World Championship. Here's Punk, not to relinquish it because Jericho, again, commentary, confusing everything about this by going, he's relinquished it. He's relinquished it like 3 times when that was not the case. Whether that's bad communication from the back, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm willing to chalk that up because like I feel like that the follow up for that was kind of hastily announced too in the middle of a match. So I'm
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, that was strange. It was like they didn't even have a graphic or anything.
Yeah,
It was like, oh, by the way, while we're in the middle of this, Rampage main event with 2 mid-carders, we're going to talk about, the future plan. Just real quick, here's the future plans for the world title. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, they just kind of threw it out there. It makes me wonder how long Punk's going to be gone. If they're going to do an interim deal, I mean, they did it for Cody back in January because he missed 1 date for COVID.
Yeah.
Is this a month? Is this 2 months? Is this 6? Like, does it make sense to do that? I'm not sure.
I just don't think we have
There's
enough information at the moment. Honestly.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Because then you have the whole you have Tanahashi now, who was supposed to be fighting Punk at Forbidden Door. Who knows what's going on? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening. And there's just a press release dropped by AEW as we're recording this onto Twitter there, just talking about the Battle Royal and a few other pieces of that match. We'll see what happens. Let's see here. Dominion event from the historic Osaka Joe Arena, highly blah, blah, blah. Tanahashi versus Goto match. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see here. At Dominion event that's taking place soon, Hiroshi Tanahashi and Goto will face off in an eliminator match for the interim AEW World Championship, and the winner also advancing to Forbidden Door on June 26th. Live on pay-per-view. So I think we're going to end up seeing Tanahashi versus Moxley, and Moxley's been wanting a match against Tanahashi for like a year, and it always keeps
there we
happening.
go. It makes total sense. They've teased Moxley's teased a match with Tanahashi for a long time now. I think Mox would make it makes sense to make him the interim champion.
I
get
think
your first 2-time champion out there. Boom, makes sense.
Or get real weird, really open the Forbidden Door, put the belt on Tanahashi.
Or, nah, we probably shouldn't do that.
I don't know. I think it'd be interesting.
I don't want to have to watch a whole other company all the time.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a reason for not doing anything. But anyway,
I just won't watch it all.
Jesus. Anyway, our main event match for AEW Rampage is Scorpio Sky versus Dante Martin for the TNT Championship. I love the redesign of the new colors of the TNT Championship. They change it for every champion.
The LA Lakers titles.
Belt. Yeah, but more gold than yellow. Pretty cool. I think it looks nice. It makes sense with him being from SoCal. I think Sky is really good. I think you get to see more of his personality sometimes pop through, and that's nice. I don't know that, again, being an American Top Team, that makes sense. I want to see more of his personality instead of less of it. And when
I just don't feel that he's a very good promo.
I think he can be.
I mean, especially compared with Ethan Page.
Oh, he's not Ethan Page.
Not
I
even
think
in
he
the same
can be
league.
a good promo.
Yeah.
I think he can be a really good promo, but it comes off dry with those people around him, with Dan Lambert doing his best Jim Cornette impersonation.
Right.
And Dante Martin, I like him. I don't think he does fundamentals very well. If you look at his strikes, they look pretty bad, but everything else is really, really pretty.
Well, yeah, he's like super, super young too, though, right?
Yeah, he was like 19, and he started during the pandemic, like right after he graduated, I believe.
Yeah. Now it looks like he still has acne. Like,
Yeah, yeah. He isn't. He isn't fully filled out yet.
yeah.
Yeah. So, what did you guys think of this week AEW before we head to Forbidden Door? It's
Well,
as
been
Cody would
great.
say, it's apropos that it would end us with us three.
It was quite the fucking week when you think about the whole MJF Willie won't he show up at the pay-per-view drama was less than a week ago as we record this, and now we've had a Punk championship reign. We've had him be not the champion anymore. We're talking about what the hell's going. So I mean, we had the first inklings of what Forbidden Door was going to look like, but now even that's up in the air. So you know, I mean, it's that we have 3 weeks. We have 3 weeks to build to
We
this
also
show.
got the Jeff Cobb run-in there, so we'll get that probably against maybe FTR.
I hope they get on it. I hope they get on it because we only have a couple more. I mean, we only have what 6 more hours of TV.
It's going to be quick too, and I think it's going to be more like a super card than you think too. We'll have like pieces dropped on.
Yeah,
on
it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of showcase matches and stuff. I think
it's
not
like
gonna be
when
a lot of
ROH.
it's not going to be a lot of storyline stuff.
It's like when ROH and New Japan used to do the crossover stuff in the middle of the year.
Yeah,
that was kind of my expectation initially. Anyway, was this it was going to be kind of its own freestanding thing to where there wasn't going to be a whole lot of story like going into it and stuff. And I mean, honestly, this is the most I've watched AEW consecutively, and yeah, you're right. It's like so far I've got nothing, for this pay-per-view, like other than like what is definitely not going to happen.
I'm a little bummed we're not getting to see Punk wrestle in Chicago.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do?
Go next year, I guess.
I guess we'll go next year.
We can eat some deep dish, like we can smoke some legal weed, we can do all sorts of other stuff.
And we will do all of the above.
We can grab us some $15 beers on the floor of this pay-per-view. We can have a good time.
Yes, indeed.
We will be sitting floor, which I'm pretty excited about. This isn't I think they've upped the capacity a little bit. They opened some more seats up, but these were like nosebleed seats that were like almost behind the stage on the corners. The arena, I think, can hold 23,000 at capacity. It's sold out for the CM Punk Rampage. And I don't think WWE's run that event since like a SummerSlam years ago, like in the 90s or something. So it's kind of crazy to see them, like, they hammer that market a lot. There's a lot of Chicago shows in the past few months since they've been back on the road, but they keep showing up. Whether that's going to be hurt by Punk not wrestling, who knows? I imagine we'll see Punk there. Maybe he commentates during the championship match.
Yeah, I'm sure he will be there in some capacity.
Oh, well, any final thoughts for next week, going into this next week before we've got two more Dynamites, right? Before we load up and go to Chicago. I think it's going to be exciting. Any final thoughts? Any hopes? Like, what match do you want to see? Like, Justin, I know you want to see Bryan Danielson wrestle somebody, and I know you want to see him probably wrestle a New Japan guy, right? Anybody offhand?
I'd like to see Danielson and Zack Sabre.
That's mine.
I think that would be my choice for him. Yeah.
And David, if you haven't seen Zack Sabre Jr., one of the best technical wrestlers in the entire world, that'd be interesting because it's a different style of technical wrestling than Bryan really wrestles. But
yeah, no, I remember watching. We were actually in Peru, and Kyle Stevens put on Zack Sabre and Ricochet, and 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 that was a it was a very different type match, like something that you hadn't really seen, at least I hadn't seen, and so no, I know he's made quite a name for himself, outside of mainstream wrestling. So it's yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I'm looking forward to being going in and not knowing a whole lot about anything and just enjoying it for what it is. Like keeping my expectations as like I know there's gonna be quality wrestlers here, and it's gonna be a hot.
It's gonna be a hot crowd. It's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be fun. Like so.
I'm looking forward to that. Like if it's not Zack Sabre Jr., I'd like it to be Okada. But there's going to be politicking going around about who can and cannot lose on this show too. Like So I think somebody's going to wrestle Okada. He's the IWGP World Champion. I think it's going to be somebody that has to lose. That could be Hangman. I've heard.
I was going to say
probably be.
I think that would even further. You could use that to further the storyline. He takes on and loses to Okada. And then
brings him to the point, like
it brings him to the point where heel turn. He's lost 2 big title bouts in a row, including losing his championship. And now we had anxious cowboy millennial, and now I think we're going to see depressed cowboy millennial.
Ferocious, or is he going to get drunker now? Is he going to go back to the bottle? Is that what's happening?
I could see it. Yeah.
If not, I don't know who Okada would wrestle. It's going to have to be somebody exciting. And I'm not sure who it is. Like I'm
Kingston.
really excited about it. Nah, that's not a match you want to see with Okada. You know what I mean?
No.
I want to see somebody that can go for like 20-30 minutes. I want to see Brian wrestle so many people.
It's Wheeler Yuta.
Oh, jeez, he just finished the Super Juniors, so we'll see. At least he's going to be back for Blood and Guts. That should be exciting. I think Wheeler Yuta is one of those interesting characters to see how he's changed so quickly in AEW. And Best Friends is basically gone now, so we'll see how that works out. All right. I can't believe it. We're back, and we're at the end of another episode on the debut of Blue Bar Cage 2.0. I'm your host, Eddie, Medium Daddy Cool Jenkins. For your other host, Justy Rhodes, Justin White, wherever the 1, 2, 3 Chris went. I think he's being a dad
stuff.
And the weatherman David Moduleski saying, remember, renewal requires opening yourself up to new ways of thinking and feeling. See ya.
Ooh.